Hey, it's Mark with the crypto market update for subscribers to my newsletter. Crypto is Easy. It is September 23rd, 2020. If you are not subscribed to Crypto is Easy, check the link in the description below. Click on it, head on over, and if you like what you see, please subscribe. I usually keep my market updates for premium subscribers, but I wanted to push this out to everybody because there's a lot of turbulence in the crypto market. Premium subscribers, some of what I'll talk about is in the email I sent you yesterday, and the rest of it mostly covers things I've talked about for a while, but there may be some interesting bits of info in this video. And FYI to everybody else, it wouldn't be fair of me to go too much into the stuff I share with premium subscribers. Just wouldn't be fair to them. It wouldn't be, they there's an extra tier, and just out of respect for for that, I'm not going to get too much into my plan or specific altcoins or the stuff that I would normally share with the premium members, but I do want to share some perspective because I get a sense that everybody's pretty on edge. You might be on edge, concerned about the prices falling, and I want to go through some analysis and some insights that I'm looking at, so you know where my head is at. And you're not to worry anybody, but this recent crash that dropped Bitcoin as much as 22% from top to bottom, some of these alts have gone 50% from their most recent high to today. That's gone down. Historically speaking, I don't make predictions, but I will say historically speaking, the data suggests we can expect more downside. Does that mean it happened? I'm just saying, I'm just looking back at history, and I'll go into that more. Let me talk about that. Let me talk about that a little more right now, in fact. Without getting too much into the specific data I use for the analysis. And I'll leave a link for that in the description below as well, so you can look at the data I use for my analysis. Long story short, Bitcoin usually crashes 30 to 40% whenever we see certain trends and correlations in the metrics, and the on-chain metrics, the usage of Bitcoin, some of the data that I look at. And that was something that, those signals, those signs, those trends, those correlations, those are things that I pointed out in August to premium subscribers. So the question is, Bitcoin usually crashes 30 to 40%. This time, we've only dropped 22%. So does this mean we should expect more downside? Or does it mean Bitcoin's market cap is just so big, its liquidity is so strong that it takes so much more money to swing prices that 22% is the new 30%, and we should expect maybe 20 to 25% crashes instead of 30 to 40% crashes, simply because it takes a lot of money to move a $150 billion asset. When Bitcoin was only 50 billion, it didn't take as much. It's just too soon to tell. It's too soon to tell. It's too soon to make any judgment, and I don't really have enough facts or evidence to really say either way. We'll just have to see how it goes. Now, as far as the alts go, I'll get there. I'll get to them in a moment, but to keep things perspective, this crash is not unusual. As I mentioned, it was clear in early August that Bitcoin would go to 12K or 14K, to $12,000 or $14,000 USD, and crash, simply because we have seen that for 11, almost 12 years, these patterns and these signals, and everything was basically all aligned, all at the same time. Now, I expect this to happen leading into the next run-up, that we see the same patterns emerge, same things we've seen again and again from the beginning, same things I saw in August. I just don't know when that run-up is going to come. Maybe we start now, maybe we have more to the downside. I'm not going to go deep into the metrics. I hope you trust me on that. If I pay for research services and analytics, and so check the link in the description below to see what I look at when I'm analyzing the markets. But there's just a lot of stuff that comes together, and you can see some pretty really clear correlations. And bottom line, as I said, this was normal. Usually, the crashes are steeper. And in fact, Bitcoin crashes more often in bull markets than in bear markets. And let me show you this chart. Let's see if I can get this up. All right. This shows Bitcoin's price in blue, and each red arrow is a crash of 30% or more, going back to 2012. You can see there are quite a few. And, I'll circle the bull markets. Each of these was a bull market cycle, and I include the final end of cycle crash that marked the end of that bull market and sent us into this, those year and a half bear markets. So you can see the distribution of the arrows. It's predominant; those arrows are predominantly in bull markets. So this is normal. If you're don't hate me on this rightmost circle here. I did draw that correctly. I don't know. People say we were in a bear market or we're still in a bear market. But if you just look at the price, we've been in a bull market since the beginning of 2019. The price has gone up. It's gone up really ever since then, the beginning of 2019. And let me just wipe everything clean and let me show you some. Let me try to clarify this a little bit. So look, there was the first bull market, right? It went up. Second bull market, it went up. Today's bull market, it's going up. It hasn't gone lower. It's still gone higher. It's dropped, it's crashed, but it's still going higher. And I know it's hard to think about that, or maybe you're saying, well, that's just Bitcoin. Well, what about the alts? Everything's falling apart. And look, there's no denying that the altcoins are getting whacked. DeFi is bearing the brunt of the assault. Some of these alts are down 50% or more in just the last week or two. And that's the thing specific to the DeFi tokens is they're not really designed to acquire value. Some are, but a lot of them are not designed to acquire value. They're just a means to facilitate some scheme that generates money for the assets people invest in that protocol. And in addition, there are scams and Ponzi's and all sorts of other stuff in addition to those schemes that are designed to generate assets, generate money for the assets people invest in using that protocol. So when your project is designed to make money for people and that's all it does, what do you think will happen? What do you think happens when you stop making money for people? So I don't know if that's really what we're dealing with here. That is just DeFi sucking everything out. I know it's a risk. It's certainly a potential. It's a possibility, and it could get worse. Maybe not. It doesn't matter. This is the nature of the beast. You can't expect 100x gains, 1000x gains without some pain along the way. Nothing goes up forever, but if you go up 5x, 500%, then down 50%, then up another 500%, down 50%, then up another 500%, where do you end? You end with 30x gains. 30x. That's just insane. That's insane. So you'll end up 30 times with 30 times more, and your portfolio will be down 50% multiple times on your way up. So these crashes, we're going to repeat this cycle a few times. That's what we can expect. And once we get up to the market cycle peak, and we'll know pretty confidently when that is because we have the data, which you see in my plan for Bitcoin's bull market, that's the point where we think, okay, now it's time to exit. Meanwhile, we just have to deal with this. This is the price of admission into this market. When the projects are small, the values are small, and even a small amount of new money can send prices flying. And let me take back and look at the really big picture. This is the total altcoin market over time. It's the market cap over time, this blue line here that you see. Going back, this is back to 2014. So this is the path we've taken from then to now, September 2020. And at the bottom, this is the volume, the amount of money going in and out of the market at any one time. And this black line is a moving average that shows it just smooths out the monthly numbers into a trend line. So it shows the change over time. And you can see this pattern right here, this trend, it's going up. The volume of money going in and out of altcoins is going up, and that's good. That signals there's interest and interest is growing. Now, obviously, it's not a straight line up. It's not, a rocket ship to the moon, and maybe we will get there. But that's not the point. That's irrelevant right now. What we see very clearly is everything is heading higher. Even the prices are starting to head higher. But the volume is more important because that signals true interest. The prices that's not a reflection of value. That's just at any moment there are a certain number of people looking to buy and a certain number of people looking to sell, and where they come together and they make a deal, that becomes the price. The volume is what you got to look at. Nobody kicks a dead dog. So as long as that volume and that interest continues to go up, prices will go up. And I also want to look at at the Bitcoin dominance chart. I don't want to spend too much on this. It can be kind of complicated. I know, I understand, but this reflects the proportion of all money in crypto that is held as Bitcoin as opposed to alts. And what you see over time, and I'm going to go back to just September 2018. Or you know what, I'll go back here. This is May 2018 when alts just, they crapped the bed. Everything fell apart. The wheels fell off. And you saw Bitcoin dominance shoot up and just money gets sucked out of altcoins. So at that point, there was sort of this tug of war for dominance. And Bitcoin was able to assert itself up to about 62%. Alts fought back. Tug of war right here. Bitcoin pushed up again. Again, 62%. Alts fought back, but they couldn't fight back as much. They were a little weaker. And so Bitcoin fought all the way up to here, which is about 73%. The alts fought back, Bitcoin pushed back again, but now it could only get up to 70%. Alts fought back, right back to that 62%. And then Bitcoin surged back, pushed alts even further, now only 68%. So each time the alts fought back, and each time Bitcoin tried to push them back, Bitcoin got weaker and weaker and weaker until the alts broke through. And so what you have is these black lines, and this black line shows the trend of Bitcoin getting weaker and weaker. This black line is that inflection point, where you have that tug of war, where the strength goes back and forth, flip-flops from Bitcoin to alts, and alts push through. This is something you see in markets all the time. In any type of asset, you see this pattern, and what usually happens in this pattern is if it plays out the way it normally does, Bitcoin will make one last push. This may be Bitcoin's push, and that's it, and it can't get to the 62%. And now we go into proper alt season, where the alts start really crushing Bitcoin, either by, if everything starts going up, the alts will way outpace Bitcoin, or if the market is flat or going down, they will do relatively better than Bitcoin relative to Bitcoin. So that's one option. Or the other option is Bitcoin makes one last final stand, gets shut down right here, always comes back weaker, and then the alts just crush it, and we get a proper alt season. That's what I expect to happen. Now, if it seems odd that I'm talking about alt season as if we didn't just have an alt season, it's because we didn't just have an alt season. The prices went up because more money came into the markets. A rising tide lifts all ships. Before I start talking about alt season, I need to see this kind of momentum on the chart. Let me show you the previous alt seasons. This was that great alt season at the end of 2017. This was that alt season at the beginning of 2017. That's what I'm looking for with alt seasons. So once I see this, then we can start talking about alt season. The bottom line, don't sweat the swings. Get used to them. We will have many crashes over the next few years. Over the long run, as the winners and losers get sorted out, the winners are going to acquire so much value. And as a result, if their tokens are created to capture that value, and a lot of them aren't, but a lot of them are, and the ones that are designed to capture that value will get so high that you'll look back on this moment and it'll be a blip, it'll be a hiccup, and nobody will remember this crash It'll blend in with all the other crashes. And if anything, you will kick yourself for not buying more in this moment. Now, yeah, there's the overall financial and economic mess we're dealing with. We know that at any moment, some sort of monkey wrench might get thrown into the mix. And I mean, I've said this before, not to be a Debbie Downer, but I do think people are getting a little complacent, and complacency kills. I'm not sitting here calling for a Great Depression or this new massive bubble pop, but I'm also not talking about a U or K-shaped recovery. There are serious problems. There are really serious problems, and there are a lot of good people working to fix them. So we just have to see how it goes. I sure hope we don't get anything like a Great Depression, but honestly, I would be surprised if we just keep going up and up and up. Hopefully, it'll be somewhere in between. Hopefully, it'll be somewhere in between, but we can't control that. So what I suggest is step back, step outside the day-to-day, look at the bigger picture, and the momentum is pretty clear. And yeah, the time frame is never what you want. Everybody wants everything to happen yesterday. But if you really want this asset class to succeed, if you want those life-changing 50x, 100x, 1000x gains that it's the stuff of legends, right? And for a lot of you, that's probably why you're in this market. The only way you get those gains is if enough people come in with enough conviction around the projects that we are investing in, the people who run them, or the communities that are being built around them, the mission, the goal. They need to believe, they need to have a willingness to commit their time and effort and money into it. Not for today, not to flip, a 2 or 3x on some DeFi pump, but to commit for the long haul and to see it through and to sit through the 30% crashes, the 40% crashes. Otherwise, we just get a bunch of pump and dumps. And those things only enrich the people who got in on the bottom floor, on the ground floor, when nobody else was talking about it and nobody else knew about it. It's one of the things I think about when I look into the altcoins that I'm recommending in my altcoin reports is, and just in general about, the plan I have for Bitcoin's bull market is staying out of the day-to-day, trying to look around the corner, use some good critical thinking, some educated guesses to understand what's likely to happen in the future, and then acting accordingly. Because by the time the moment arrives, you probably missed it. And what I mean by that is it's hard to play catch up. We're depending on other people's interest in this asset and the utility that their presence and the projects themselves are driving to their tokens, whether that's Bitcoin or any what people are building on Bitcoin, or if it's any one of these other altcoins. And it all takes time. And in the meantime, these swings, these big swings, these crashes, that's the price of admission. Trust me, where we're going, you're not going to look back on this moment and say, "Oh, I wish I had sold at $12,000 Bitcoin or when that altcoin was doing a 10x." You're going to look back on this moment in, I don't know, a year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, whatever. But you're going to look back and you're going to, if you sell, you're going to regret selling because you thought you could pick it up at a lower price, or you thought your alt was dead just because the price dropped, or rug pull, exit scam, whatever, because you're not connected to the team, you don't know what's going on. You just see the price dropped, and that's absolutely normal. If you're feeling disgruntled, you don't need to be disgruntled. We're not at the point where the price says anything about the quality or legitimacy of a project or any of these cryptocurrencies. It's all hype and speculation right now. So look at this moment as an opportunity, because it is. Not only is it an opportunity, but this could be the biggest opportunity of your life. Think about it that way. I know I am. Relax and enjoy the ride.